So this week is going to be another sports-heavy podcast. I do apologize for that if apologies are necessary. These are just the stories that were really interesting this week. There was one other story that I did consider, but I think I'm going to kick that one off for just another week because a lot of people are talking about it right now, and we're waiting for more developments on that particular story. I'll talk about it next week. But in the meantime, I guess the one thing that seems obvious that a person has to talk about, and I absolutely loathe to have to talk about this, but Tom Brady won another fucking Super Bowl. Ugh. But at the very least, he didn't win it with the Patriots. Of course, this time it was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, who is the player who is probably most likely to be the next Tom Brady. And if you look at the path that he had to overcome in order to do that, he had to go out and overcome, the elite level quarterbacks of all time in order to do that. You're talking about Drew Brees with the New Orleans Saints, beat them. Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers, beat them. And now he's a Super Bowl champion again. Now, whether or not you would put asterisks next to some of his Super Bowl championships, personally I would. I'm of two minds about Inflategate, but the simple fact of the matter is that regardless of what I thought the rules should have been, the rules were what they were, and Tom Brady broke them. He was cheating. They were cheating when they won one of those Super Bowls. There's an asterisk next to that particular Super Bowl. But the simple fact of the matter is that he has won more than anybody, and he continues to win even after people think that he should be done. And the interesting thing about the Tom Brady story to me is the detail that if you really think about it, his draft position actually suggests that Tom Brady probably never should have been in the NFL at all. You would think that a guy with the kind of success that Tom Brady has had in his career, 7 Super Bowl championships, that's unheard of. It may never be matched. It may never be matched. Who knows, maybe Patrick Mahomes could. But there's a very, very good chance that it will never be matched. Ever. And you would think that a guy with that kind of success would have been a first overall draft pick. You would have thought that he would have been drafted at the same place as, say, Tim Tebow. And perhaps Tim Tebow would have been more likely to be drafted at the position that Tom Brady was actually drafted in, and that was at number 199. He was the number 199 draft pick in the year 2000. Every team in the league passed him over multiple times. The New England Patriots passed him over multiple times. Any other team in the league could have taken Tom Brady at any time in that draft. But none of them did. And so then Tom Brady, he comes to his first training camp, having been selected at number 199. And I would suggest that probably a lot of people should have been thinking that, he's not a guy who's ever going to make it into this league. If he ever does make it into this league, he's going to be a third or fourth string quarterback. He's going to be on the practice roster. Maybe he won't even be. Maybe he has to go away for a few years and play in the CFL. Maybe he has to go play in the XFL before he gets his opportunity to play in the NFL. He was drafted number 199. But the one person who never ever thought about himself in that way, if there was anybody in the world who absolutely never thought that about Tom Brady, it was Tom Brady. If you were to go out and look at all of the people who exist on this planet, all 7 billion of the people on planet Earth at this time, and you were to go and look for that one person who most embodies what they call the growth mindset, it has to be Tom Brady. And so the growth mindset, of course, that's a reference to a book by a psychologist by the name of Carol Estweck. It's such a hard name to say. In all honesty, when I say it, I sound like Elmer Fudd. But in her book, she talks about two different mindsets that people have. And there is, on one hand, there is what they would call the fixed mindset. And so the fixed mindset would tell you that, like Tom Brady, he's drafted number 199 in the NFL draft. He better go make some other plans. And as it so happens, those other plans probably should not be professional baseball, because there he was drafted number 500 by the Montreal Expos, by the way. When there were still Montreal Expos, they drafted Tom Brady. It's kind of a cool little factoid. But the fixed mindset would tell you that professional football, at least in the NFL, was probably not for Tom Brady. You know, he should have a backup plan. But as it turns out, all the people who ever told Tom Brady that he should have a backup plan, they should have had a backup plan for telling him that he should have a backup plan. Because Tom Brady, he didn't have a fixed mindset, he had a growth mindset. And if you're drafted number 199 to come all the way from that position in the draft, to become arguably the greatest NFL player of all time, if not merely the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, to perhaps be the best NFL player of all time from that position in the draft, well, you'd better have a mindset that's going to allow you to grow into what you aspire to be. And absolutely nobody out there, for all of his detractors, for all the people who don't like him because he cheated, and he did. I mean, it is true, he did cheat in order to win that one Super Bowl. But the simple fact of the matter is that he never would have even been in a position to do that, to win a Super Bowl, if he had accepted his fate at position number 199 in the 2000 NFL Draft. So, I mean, I don't like Tom Brady. I don't think that I'm ever going to like Tom Brady. But I think that if you're a person who is in a situation where that you might not like very much in your life, I think at least in terms of the kind of work ethic that you can bring in order to correct that, and the kind of mindset that you have to have in order to realize that, yes, you do have the ability to grow beyond that situation and move into something better. You know, Tom Brady, at least in that one particular regard, obviously he's a very good role model. If he's not a good role model in any other aspect of life, that one's undeniable. I mean, you don't have to like him, but you do have to respect and accept, you know, that amazing feat that he's been able to accomplish. So, I suppose, congratulations, begrudgingly, Mr. Brady. You did it.